Everybody, welcome to Austin, Texas, the Entrepreneurs United Empowerment Experience. Tonight is the launch of my first book, The $100 Million Journey. I'm here with a lot of close friends, my wife, Amy, fellow entrepreneurs, advisors here in Austin, Texas at the all-new Barton Creek Resort. And I'm excited for you guys to join us tonight for this amazing evening. I'm so excited to launch my first book, and everybody for the first time is going to see it here live. Welcome to the $100 Million Journey launch.
Who's excited about a $100 million journey?
Over the last 26 years, I've seen John evolve into being a great entrepreneur. I think as an entrepreneur, it's a lot of ready, fire, aim. And we talked earlier with Jim Cathcart when he showed the archer, and he used 3 words: initiative, effort, and accuracy. And that's what it was all about, right? Was with that archer, they had to have the initiative, the effort, and the accuracy in order to hit. And I've seen John do that time after time after time after time. And he is definitely a ready, fire, aim guy. I, more so, am the ready, aim, aim, aim. One more time, we want to make sure we hit the bullseye, aim. And he will just put a shot up, know that it's going to be off, and adjust until the point that he hits the mark. And I think that's one of the signs of a true entrepreneur, which is John. It's all about getting knocked down and then getting back up. We hear that all the time, and John's an example of that. You know, I got a phone call. It was early December 2018. And John called, and we have a thing that anytime we see each other on caller ID, we tend to interrupt whatever we happen to be doing at that time. And I did that. And here's John on the other end of the line. I said, hello. And he says, Rich, I got fired. I said, you got fired? I thought you owned the company. Yep, I got fired. I said, did you fire yourself? No. He said, I trusted some of the wrong people. They had controlling interest in the company, and they turned around after they gained controlling interest in the company, and they fired me. It's called a hostile takeover. I said, wow. What are you going to do now? Well, I have a whole bunch of things I need to clean up. There's legal stuff going on. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to take a sabbatical. So is that like just a long vacation? I'm not sure I even know what a sabbatical is. Yeah, I'm going to take a long time. I'm going to figure out what I need to do now in the next phase of my life. And he did that. It was over about a course of a year that he took a sabbatical. He was not working. He was cleaning stuff up and really thinking about, what do I do next? And for those of you, I'm curious if how many people in the room saw the "It's Time to Kick Ass" videos that John was putting out. Raise your hand if you were one of those people. Yeah, so lots of people said it was probably about 40% of the room. So for those of you that didn't see it, so it was, I don't know how long it was. It must have been for a period of a couple of weeks. He would do something every couple of days, and he'd be walking in the woods, and he would talk about what's on his mind, and then he'd end by saying, and it's time to kick ass. And then he'd be doing something else or jogging, and he would talk about what was on his mind and say, it's time to kick ass. And then he all of a sudden led that into a launch of something that nobody knew what it was. It was a mystery, and you had to sign up in order to attend it. And so I signed up. I said, I don't even know what he's talking about. He wouldn't even tell me. And got on there, and that was a launch of Entrepreneurs United. And what John said at that time was, you know what I figured out over the course of my sabbatical? What I want to do, my life's work in the second half of my life, is I want to contribute to the entrepreneurial community. I want to give to the entrepreneurial community. That's what this is going to be all about. And I'm going to launch Entrepreneurs United, and we're going to unite entrepreneurs, and we're going to create a community that we're really going to make a difference, and certainly have made a difference, I think, here over the last day, and we have another half a day tomorrow. I think this book is just an extension of that commitment of his to the entrepreneurial community, where in this book he has some of that story that I just shared and some of the details of it and some of the learning lessons of how to grow and how to lose a $100 million business on its face, that would be kind of an embarrassing thing to have happen, to grow and then have lost a business. But not John. John will get knocked down and he'll stand back up. John missed the mark, and John is just going to adjust and come back and hit the bullseye. And it's his offering to the entrepreneurial community to be able to tell that story and teach those lessons through his book. And I couldn't be more excited to have kicked off this book launch and now invite up his publisher, Kira, to have a couple of words as well. Thank you for having us this evening and including us in the launch.
So my name is Kira Brinton. I am the founder, CEO of JOA Publishing. And we are not a normal publishing house. We only publish books that are going to change the world. So anybody who comes to us, that's the requirement. And I remember when I met with John for the first time and he told me his story, I just fell in love. Because I believe it is entrepreneurs who actually change the world. It is entrepreneurs who are going to go and move the mountains for people. And his story hit my heart. And so not only did I say, yes, we will publish you, I got to work one-on-one with John for 6 months in his manuscript. So I really got to work really closely to John and hear his story. And what I love about his book is there's a lot of entrepreneurial books out there that are actually really boring. And if you are an entrepreneur, then maybe you have a little ADD, usually, yes? And boring books don't keep you. And something that I really want to honor John is that he did not write a boring book. This is not a boring book. This book is going to captivate you. The way that he tells his stories will pull you in. You will not be able to put this down. And he's so damn vulnerable. And I really honor him for that because it's in his vulnerability that your life will change. And I say that because guess what? My business changed simply by helping him write his book. So before I knew John, I did not own 100% equity of my company. As of today, I own 100% equity of my company because of what I learned while helping him bring this book to life. Yes. So one person's life has already changed, mine. And I know that John, his heart is about impact. And I truly believe that if every one of you were to sit with this book, it would radically change your lives and your business for the better. So I'm just like deeply honored, not only to know John, but to have been in these pages, let it change my business, but truly to be his publisher and to help him bring this book to the world. So with that, I would love everyone to grab your champagne. And we are going to make a toast. And this toast is for John and all of the detailed work. He put so much of his heart, his soul into every word of every page, into every graphic, into every little you'll see every tiny detail was here to make a difference for you. So I'm toasting you, John, and I'm toasting that this book goes out and changes millions of lives so that we go out and really make an impact in the world. So to John. And with that, I would like to introduce the author, the leader, the entrepreneur, John St.Pierre.
Well, first off, what an honor to have you guys here. And when we set this date about a year ago, I was like, that is the date. Hell or high water, this book is coming out on this date. And Kira got this book printed last week. It was delivered here on Friday. I didn't even see it until I got here. That's how close to the wire this book came. And I want to thank Amy for all of her support and love. She's my short fuse wrecking ball. Takes care of me, backs me up. I want to thank all my family back at home in Canada watching. And everybody else watching from across the globe, I guess maybe not in Europe right now because they're sleeping, but maybe tomorrow you guys will watch it. It's been quite the process, quite the journey to even write the book. And we spoke yesterday at this event about changing people's lives in here. That's my goal for this event. Kira, it's not by accident that you're sitting between Mike Stone and Rich Wilson, by the way, because they have stories. And the person behind you, and John Mitchell's got a story, and I cannot believe he hasn't gotten out in the world today. Dan Neal doesn't have a book, and he needs to write a book with you. And I can go around the room of everybody has a story that could really make an impact, and you need to have it. So I want to thank you guys all for being here. This is not going to be a 45-minute session or a lecture by any stretch. I just want to talk for a little bit about why I wrote the book, what it is, and obviously you guys are all getting the copy right now, which the only person that saw the copy before today was Amy. Kira hasn't even seen it yet. She's waiting for her copy, and she's the publisher because it got shipped here directly. So I really want to thank you guys for taking a look at that. Why did I write a book? I wrote a book for a few reasons. And I'll share with you guys what those reasons are. When I took that sabbatical that Rich spoke about, one of the things that I was focused on was what does success look like for me, just like Jim talked about. And to me, success is the Venn diagram of what are you most passionate about, what can you be the best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine. Those are the three things. And I kept thinking, quite honestly, the business I had lost fit perfectly in that Venn diagram. So I was shattered. Because that was exactly what I wanted to do, and I felt like I could be the best in the world at it, and we could really do well with it. So I had to find something else. And what I kept going back to was entrepreneurs. I felt like I had a good leadership skills. I had great mentorship from Jeff Wall to Charlie Chase and many others that I felt like I could help entrepreneurs with their business specifically at that time based on my failure. I felt like I can help. I don't want people to go through what I had to go through. So for me, my passion for the rest of my life is to work with entrepreneurs and help them grow the business of their dreams without falling off the cliff like I did. Because as entrepreneurs, I've talked to many of you guys today, it's up and down and up and down and up and down. You're trying to get to the next level. It's hard. As Brian Stevenson says, right? Tomorrow's sunny with a chance of tornado. You never know what's going to happen. So that's the number one reason. I want to work with entrepreneurs for the rest of my life. That's my passion. I love doing it. I'll do it for free all day. It doesn't matter to me. I love helping entrepreneurs. The second reason is our company. So Rhombus Group is a private holding company. We have 5 actually private holding companies. I want to meet other entrepreneurs. If we can help them grow, they need capital, they need liquidity for what they've built, they want help growing their business to whatever, 100 million, 10 million, doesn't make a difference. We would love to partner with them and help them grow. So that's a commercial interest that we have. And the third one is, by the way, you guys are getting the book. You're the only ones, other than my family, who are going to get this book before November 30th. The only ones. And I'll explain why, because I'm going to ask something for you guys in return. But what do you guys think happened 5 years ago on November 30th? I got fired. So the book is kind of like 2 middle fingers back at the world. That's what it is. So what Rich was talking about, those time to kick some ass videos, I still had no clue what I was going to do, but I was firing. And by the way, I did that video, the first one, on April 1st, 2020. Excuse me. Yes, April Fool's Day. So I usually like to play April Fool's Day jokes on my mom. And I wasn't sure if people would believe me or not. And I figured, it was fun, let me keep doing it. But I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I consulted with a lot of people here in this room and just found my center lane of what I wanted to focus on. So that's the 3 reasons why I wrote the book. I want to thank Kira. You said it, I can't even say it better. You took the story out of me, right? This could have been a really, really, really boring business book. And it's divided into many sections. The first section is my journey, which is a story that many of you guys are connected to. My mom's going to read that section. The second section is really the roadmap that I developed for myself, my True North life plan, my roadmap for our business, and then the 7 strategic principles of entrepreneurial success that you see up on the screen. And that's a little bit of theory and a little bit of textbook. So some people may like the theory, some people may like the textbook, because we get core deep into net operating cash flow plans, into 3-year capital strategies, into how fast can your company actually afford to grow, and do you know what percentage your company can actually afford to grow, what's the formula to get there? We go deep into a whole bunch of different strategies. We talked about this morning with the advisors we have and we surrounded ourselves with on captive insurance programs, 401k cash balance play. We go pretty deep. And it ends in the end of, where are you trying to grow your business and how do you get there without falling off the cliff? So that's really what the journey is. And I was blessed when I had my failure that not only did I have another diversified business that I had an interest in, but I also had some amazing partners. And, Mike sitting here in the front, think about this. When Mike and I started the company with a few other people in 2003, Rhombus Group, project management company, contracting. We sold it, practically gave it away in 2011. And Mike and I bought it back in 2016, beginning of 2016. In 2015, Rhombus Group did $3.5 million. Last year in 2022, we did $103 million. 505% growth in a very short period of time on his leadership and Steve Heron. Where are you guys? Please stand up, make sure you get recognized. Because these were the CEOs and presidents that made it happen. And I learned a lot through that as well, that sometimes you're not the best person to run your company. Sometimes you got to move along that strategic ladder to move above the business to be more strategic and move from CEO to chairperson. How do you do that? And I talked to Bob Chalks. We had a good conversation about that today. I learned so much about having a business asset, not a business job. And how do you build your company to get to that level? So that's what that is. The 7 principles, pretty simply, you need to have a true north and know where you're going. I mean, just all the speakers we've had the last 24 hours, you need to know what you want and go big. But once you have that true north, you need to protect and grow your equity. And there's no better mentor than this guy, but even when he told me, I couldn't listen. I lost control of a company that I had co-founded with some best friends. And a lot of people in this room were a part of that business. And sometimes when you have failure, some people stick with you, some people don't. That's when you know your true friends are. 2, build your own capital. Way too many people raise capital, dilute their equity because they think they're going to grow faster. Would you rather have 100% of a $10 million business or 10% of a $100 million business? Right? You have to build your own capital. There's ways to do that. There's strategies to do that. I was a little oblivious. I went to school in accounting. I still didn't even know how to properly manage a cash flow plan and a 3-year capital strategy. Anybody know how to design a 3-year capital strategy? I had no clue. I just figured the more money we have, the faster we grow, the better it's going to be. Boy, was I wrong. We had to build our own capital. Reinvest smartly. Growth for growth's sake, not a good idea sometimes. Strategic growth. Know how fast your company can afford to grow and do it wisely and smartly. Don't diversify all over the place. Focus what you're good at and be the best at it. Build a culture of entrepreneurship. We're going to hear about that tomorrow morning. There's some people in this room. Mike Stone's a really good example. And you mentioned it today. I want to just talk about this for a second. I think it's a cool story. Mike Stone's the CEO of CertaPro Painters, the largest painting company in North America. And 30 years ago, I met Mike. He was a residential sales rep for a College Pro franchisees in Iowa, bartending at a bar when we first met. And he went from residential sales rep of College Pro to a residential sales rep of CertaPro to to CEO of the company. That's an intrapreneur who became an entrepreneur in running this business. And how do we create that culture within our companies? So we can ultimately replace ourselves to create a business asset, not a job. And we talk about that in this book. We're going to talk about more tomorrow as well. Protect the house. There's a lot of people in this room that protect our house. You heard from some of them this morning, not all of them. Chris Miller, another one. We have some attorneys that aren't here, litigation attorney, corporate attorney. Hope to get a medical person advisor on our team to protect the full house, as well as we talked about. Access owners' liquidity. It may have been too short of a time to really understand what specifically Brian, I think Vince mentioned as well, how do you move money from your business's income statement to your personal net worth statement? There are strategies that 99% of entrepreneurs have no clue about. Because either they've never made enough money to figure it out and get the right advice, or they haven't got the right advisors to help them figure it out. And when you get the right advisors on your team, holy cow, things change. Guess what happens? More cash flow in your business. Now you can grow faster, and the machine keeps generating. And then last but not least, move from CEO to chairperson. That's ultimately what you want to do, is build business assets, right? To create wealth and freedom for your family. So that's the principles. And now I'm asking a favor of you guys. You guys are now been voluntold onto my launch team, because you guys are the only ones who have the book. And the good news is the book's not going to market for almost 2 more months. And there's a lot of friends, advisors, people who have known me for 25, 30 years in this room. Some people I haven't met until this weekend. But now you're part of our family. And what I'm going to ask of you is please read the book, and please find areas of opportunity. Share them with me. If I missed a period somewhere, or we missed a period, let us know. If you think, hey, this could be done differently, or you forgot about this, please, because there's time to make some edits and changes to this, and I would really, really appreciate that when this thing goes to market, it's the best it could possibly be. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I want the world to know about the book. And if you guys can please help share that with entrepreneurs you work with, fellow colleagues, social media, doesn't really matter, that would really, 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 really help. And part of our launch team, you'll start getting some emails of what we got going on and what we're doing between now and launch. Anything you guys could do to help would be really, really appreciated. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for being part of our family here at Entrepreneurs United. And I hope you enjoy the book. Thank you. Thank you.